much? Like, why do you care so much about like these natural products in your hair? Well, that's a great question. And welcome to me talk. So why I care so much about like what's going on my hair, on my scalp. As you may see, I last night I showered with the all natural curly hair shampoo that I made along with using the scalp treatment, and these are these are my curls. I didn't really go anywhere. I didn't do anything today. I just stayed indoor. Um, but this is what you're getting. My curls feel more like dense and together. Um, it doesn't feel heavy. My scalp feels really clean. If I were to scratch it with my nails, I'm not really getting that like sebum, oily, flaky gunk that would I would usually find. And that is why I care, because for years, I want to say since high school, I want to say it was maybe like 15, 16, 17 years of age. Yeah, 15 to 17 years of age. And the one reason why I like really remember is because there was a classmate where we would like give each other like head massages, right? You know, just for fun. And there would be times where like they would like scratch or rub my scalp, and then they'd be like, "What is this?" And I kind of not no, I got pretty embarrassed by it. Um and ever since then, like my scalp has been like that. I never did anything different. I never changed anything. Even if my diet changed, my scalp still remained the same. After I would shower, my hair would dry, and maybe within like an hour to 2 hours, like I would scratch my scalp, and like there would be this flaky, like white or yellowish kind of um like gunk that I would find underneath my nails. I thought that was natural. I thought that was normal. I thought it was okay. Like I just have really oily skin. Okay, fine. Like it is what it is, and no hair products would change any of that. I don't think even really clarifying shampoo. I mean, I did use some for a few years. No, like a year. I didn't really notice too much of a difference, but like with what I'm realizing and how I've been healing and growing, I have been staying away from the use of chemicals, right? The use of non natural, like lab produced things. Like if it doesn't come from nature, I don't want it. Right? Because like if it's chemicals and it doesn't come from nature and it's not natural, like my body doesn't know how to process it and what to do with it. And so my body doesn't know what to do with it. That means like it's trying to like excrete it and um like repel it, you know? So that is why I stick with all natural, organic, because that's just what our body was made like for, to use that. That's what nature was made for, right? To be like using its products in that kind of way, like that um synergistic kind of partnership. So I care because this has been going on for far too long. I am what? 32 now, and so let's just say 16 or 17, 3, 20, like 15 years. Like 15 years is far too long. Like enough is enough, you know? So I decided to make a change, right? And all going to start with me, right? Because this is my life, my body. And ever since, like, I started making my own homemade shampoo, that has made the world of a difference, not even just with my like hair and the health of it. Like my ends can get very dry and brittle really fast, and they start to tangle with each other really fast. But it's not because my hair isn't healthy, it's just because of those outsider products that just are not really meant to sustain and um, provide like health back into my hair. It actually strips all of it because of all the chemicals and just the non-natural things that they put into them just for right shelf life, um, length of time, like to to increase the shelf life, right? And they put all these other things that just our body is just not supposed to be in contact with. um, and this is my first time actually doing the scalp rinse, and I think that was so helpful, um, because I finally, right, with AI at our fingertips, I finally was able to just be like, all right, like, I'm not gonna try guessing like what's happening. Like, I'm not going to a doctor anytime soon. And if I did, like, they probably wouldn't know what's going on. I probably would get like three different dermatologist kind of like diagnosis situation. So I was like, okay, I need to send pictures of what's going on to AI. So I did. And AI was like, well, what you're probably, because they're like, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not really able to give medical advice. But what I think you're most likely going through is you're experiencing seborrheic dermatitis. Now, what that means is I have a really oily scalp, and what's happening is my scalp is creating like the most optimal breeding grounds for the natural yeast that is part of our microbiome in our scalp, and that yeast is called Malassezia. And they're just feeding off the oils on my scalp, and then they're like excreting their byproduct, and that's like the oil, the scalp, the flakiness, the byproduct, the sebum, like all of that is creating that like gunk. Um, and my hair like has always been great. Like I have great, luscious, like thick, a lot of hair, but like all the time, like every single day, it's just nonstop. Like I could just like be pulling out, and then I'm not pulling, like I'm just running my hands through my hair, and then just like hair, right? Just hair comes out, right? That's one strand, but like if I were to really kind of go through, right, here's another one, right? So like hair strands just come out. Now I know naturally, okay, right? The life cycle of our hair, naturally some strands will fall out, but like I can guarantee you, like if I run my hands through my hair, if I didn't start doing these natural hair care products, um, I can probably grab like 10 to 20 strands of hair. And that's just from me doing this, like within a matter of 20 minutes. Now, if I were to go into the shower and I actually shower, like I run my hands through my hair to make sure like all the knots and stuff are out, that's another like 50 strands of hair. And that's in one day. And those are just those two times. Like I'm losing more and more hair just in a matter of 24 hours, and it's a lot of hair strands. And I was like, okay, well, I thought it was natural. I thought that's just the way my body and my hair just worked. But it's not natural. It's not natural to lose that much hair that fast. And that could be one of the reasons, right, why I was losing so much hair, because of just my scalp not being great for just for these my hair strands to grow and be in. Um, it could be a whole bunch of other reasons. It could be genetics. Um, it could be like stress at certain points in my life. I know back in, I want to say it could have been 2022 going into 2023. Or, yeah, 2022 to 2023. Like December, I was going through a heavy amount of stress and emotional stress, all at one time. I was going through some relationship stress, not gonna lie, and I was also at the same time in my master's program. Um, so it was a lot of stress, and right, I paid no mind to the hair that was falling out of my head constantly. And one day oh wait, like you may see and notice, like I'm always touching my hair, I'm always touching my scalp. Like I guess you can call it my nervous tick or something. But I was running my hands through my head and then bop. I'm like, that does not feel right. What happened was like I felt a really smooth part of my head. Smooth like a baby's bottom, like I've never felt it before. I was like, that's not right. So I opened my hair up around this area right here, this size, right? No hair was there anymore. None. That piece of my head was bald. I freaked out. And at the same time, so I was like, okay, like if there's one spot, there might be others. So I start running my hands through my head again. Right, running my hands through my head. I find another one smaller. It's maybe like that size, right? But it was at the bottom edge of my head right here. So luckily they were in parts of my head where my hair could cover, right? Like if I just like parted my hair this way, like it's covered. No one would ever be able to tell. Same like for this piece down here, I just had to have my hair down, like no up, not up. And previously, like I had been going to acupuncture for quite a while to help me with other ailments. Like I had issues with falling asleep and staying asleep. I had a lot of like emotional anger issues. I had like headache issues. I was healing from my hand and wrist. I had like my right ankle issues and wrist issues from old injuries being a kid and never properly getting those healed. So I had gone to acupuncture for a while. So I went to acupuncture for this. Like what what's there to lose, right? Like I could really only gain from me going to acupuncture for treating the balding in my head. Um, and I can't quite remember if we did an aggressive treatment of like multiple times a week. But like with acupuncture, you have to be consistent and you have to go on a weekly basis in order to maintain the healing channels and the meridian channels to like flow and allow the energy to like move through you, or else if you like go once and then stop and then go again and then stop, it's inconsistent and you're not going to really see progress like you really want to, because the allowance of the energy flow is, it's like all right, imagine this. Imagine someone opens the door, and as you're walking to it, they shut it. So then you walk away, and then they open the door again. You're like, "Ooh, it's open," and you go towards it, and then they get shut. Right? It's like that. That's a tease. So that's like kind of how I imagine what happens when people do that with acupuncture. Is you're like teasing your body, like, ooh, you're open, psych, you're not. Ooh, you're open again, like, let's flow, psych, you're not. So you gotta keep the door open. You gotta allow the energy to continuously flow. So I did that. I want to say maybe for like a month or a month and a half, and um, then I started to see my hair grow back. And I have a picture of that. But like as you can tell, like my hair is fully back. Like you would never be able to know that I experienced something like that. Um, and yes, you know that me losing my hair may not have been truly, and like that balding spot may not have been truly because of what I had been experiencing with the seborrheic dermatitis, but it did have an effect on the fact that I was losing a lot of hair and that was not normal for like 15 years. And so we're making changes and we're making progress, and it takes time. And I'm ready to experience the changes and to take the time to allow my body to heal from all the years of pretty much neglect. Um, and so that is why I care so much about what goes onto my body and what goes into my body, because I only have this one body in this one beautiful life on this one beautiful earth and planet that we call home. So I'm planning on living a long and prosperous life, and to do so, I gotta be healthy inward and outwardly. So if any of this resonates with you, if any of you have any questions, like I mentioned, I haven't gone to the doctor about this. Like I'm not a medical researcher. Like, I just had a conversation with AI, and this is the conclusion, right? This is a potential reason. Um, yeah, it could be just a severe or an aggressive, what is it called? Dandruff. I've used dandruff shampoo. Dandruff shampoo has not worked. Um, if there are any more or better natural ingredients that you have recommendations for me to try and use outside of what I'm already using with the apple cider vinegar scalp rinse and my homemade shampoo with Castile soap, aloe vera gel, jojoba oil, argan oil, glycerin, a little bit of honey and water, let me know. I'm open ears with an open heart, and I'm always ready and open to learn. So let me know your thoughts, comment, feedback, like, share, subscribe, and continue to stay tuned for more talks from Ish. Listen, thank you.